Cody. What's going on?
Not much.
So first off, thank you for coming on here. I've told at the beginning of these conversations, I've let everyone know it's like kind of one of our big goals this year is to do more of these with people, businesses. We have some businesses lined up just to chat, all things health and fitness. Wanted to have you on, and as soon as we thought of this concept, I'm like, got to get Cody on, got to get this and that person on. But you were one of the very first people that I thought of for a reason. I remember when this was a few years ago. I feel like we had a conversation. I had just kind of started really getting into this, seriously, and that was before it's God, my client roster and experience with a lot of people was next to nothing, you know. And it was me, Shannon, my wife, your husband Jared, and you sitting at
Your house.
at my house.
Yeah.
We were cooking dinner. I believe your son was just born, and
4 months.
yeah,
Yep.
and then my son Knox was just born. So you're in this situation. It's like a couple things. One, it was neat for me because you asked and you're like, hey, what can I do? And I had just kind of started this. So I respect the fact that you put your trust in me in that situation, and just, you worked your butt off for several years. You continue to implement everything back then, which we'll talk about. It shifted a little bit, but you're an OG is what I'm getting at. So this is Cody's before and afters here. Again, she's always been super active, has always, lived this sort of lifestyle. But when you're a new mom, and things can change. So have some questions here. I know 100% a lot of people will relate to this. So this is what I mentioned in the beginning. I said you were one of the original clients of mine, way back in the day. Things have evolved. Back then it was like a 6-week program that you did, but there was many similar concepts and philosophies that are now what is called Recalibr8te. The question I have for you is, what is something about this lifestyle, this sort of strategy that has allowed you to be successful for so long, coming up on 3 years?
Yeah, it's been, I think, 2 years this month, actually.
Okay.
But definitely the simplicity of this program. It's so easy to follow. I'm not going to lie, whenever I was debating it, I was like, do I really need to hire someone to help me get fitting in? Because I know how to work out, but I just went for it, and definitely the best decision I've ever made. Yeah.
When you say, because that's a great point to bring up. One thing we do as a business is we reach out. We reach out to people. We push that extra. We give that nudge to people we don't know that might, think that they want to do something like this, but kind of our frustration sometimes is we've reached out to people just like you who seemingly could appear to not need that support, or you're fit, and sometimes those sort of people they're tough. They're tough to convince, because it is do I really need any coaching, any support? And they're like, no, I don't. I can figure this out myself,
Yes.
And I get that. The smartest people in the world are super intelligent because they seek that support out. So I think it's a smart thing to do, and but it is sort of a pride thing too.
Yes.
I feel because you do kind
Absolutely.
of have to let people know where you're at,
Yeah.
and it's kind of an intimate thing that can be tough for people.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. But you said the simplicity of it.
Yeah, I easily turned it into a lifestyle for myself. It's been 2 years, and I still to this day follow all of it.
And you right away hit the ground running with this, and immediately started and you're someone, which we'll get into one of these other questions. It's you were already fit. So your victories look much different than someone else. Your brings us right to that. In the eyes of many people watching, many people that would see your before photo. Well, a lot of times, just being fair, it's we all have our own journey. That's where some people just want to end up, you know. But someone that is, considered already, petite or small or in good shape, is it fair to say that those people like yourselves could still like pull value
Yeah,
from
absolutely. Yeah, I think there's always room to learn more. I know I learned a lot from it, and I had a pretty decent background of working out before the program,
this? Yeah.
but I had never been taken back so far, from where I was after pregnancy. I had never been at such a lack of fitness there.
Yeah.
So I really just wanted to learn more, and it really opened a whole new door for me as to what fitness is.
Yeah. And you're like, I look at someone like you, that there's people watching this where they're like, I really only want to, like I relate to you. I really only want to lose, or drop 5 pounds of body fat. And with that too, I want to improve my body composition, which you drastically have. But the point I'm trying to make is like, someone like you, 5 pounds of you, 10 pounds of you is a really like big deal. It's all proportionate and relative, I guess, to our starting points. So this is again kind of, your physique and kind of transformation. I know. I think our next question is, maybe it's the one after that, but you're. And we'll save it for that. You're a mom, so let's hop to this. Got a boy, 2 years old, 3? No, gonna be 3.
2.
And gonna be 3. When's his birthday? October. So he'll be 3 the following, or in the fall. So being a mom, how have things changed, or like with your fitness routine, and maybe not you and I discussed before we went live with this, like that's always like been a constant for you. You kind of just hopped right back into it, but does having like what can you bring that or mention like about this approach, it being a little bit easier, it being more simple and less rules, less rigidness? Does that make it easier?
Yeah, so much easier. I couldn't imagine having to count calories, count macros, anything like that. The fasting makes it easy too. This would be great for busy moms who can only work out 3 days a week.
Right.
So the simplicity of this program is great for busy moms.
I always tell people, and this is one of the things like when they reach out, the real key like difference is, would you rather follow like 3 to 5 like really good like parameters and rules, like worry about 3 to 5 things, on one hand, or would you rather follow rules that it's double hand, like it's 15 to 20 different things, this and that, if this happens, don't do this, do that, like it becomes messy and it becomes complicated, and then that person can't adhere to it. But when you remove the smoke, and it's like truly now it's like there really is only a few different levers you need to pull to make a body composition change. One of them we'll get into here. You enjoy lifting weights. What is your like routine? Are you like, I know you work out pretty often, but are you in CrossFit, or are you just lifting heavy, or
mostly just strength training, lifting heavy? Yeah. Very, very little cardio.
I like, so you're someone that doesn't hop on the treadmill every morning? Or
No. Every once in a while, I think they do a Murph competition in May. I will train for that just for fun. But beyond that, no, I don't do cardio.
I got to bring up something funny. So we did that August trail run, and that was like a record, like, which was huge. Like did you do
10 miles?
You did 10 miles.
The longest I've ever ran.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
You were like, it was so funny. I think you couldn't wait for the 10 miles to end because you had a game plan of like, I don't know if you were going to get a donut or you were going to a calzone. It was a calzone down the road. Yeah. Well.
And I ate the whole thing.
Yeah. Teach her on that. That's hey, the motivation for everybody. But yeah. So big point here is that like with women, and this is something that's super important. Any females watching this, whether you have like you're just trying to, I hear this word tone all the time, and when I hear that and I break it down for people, and I'll say, okay, you just want to tone. Here's what they say. I'm not really caring about losing weight or think I need to lose weight. I just want to tone. So then when we get to the bottom of that, what they really want is they don't really care necessarily maybe about that scale number changing, but they still do have a little bit of body fat in unwanted areas. Maybe it's the lower abdominal, maybe it's, somewhere on their arms, legs. Every body shape is different. But that word tone still does imply and usually mean dropping body fat. Dropping body fat, and then they say, I want to build muscle and drop body fat. That's a body composition change. Usually weight loss inadvertently happens because of that. Women, this is where it's super favorable. The biggest thing that they want to opt towards is, okay, I need to burn a bunch of calories. And the only way I know how to burn a bunch of calories is to hop on the treadmill, cardio, run, and then I need to just not eat. I need to completely not eat. And then what ends up happening is, if strength training is not a part of that, they're burning through muscle. Many people that if you lose weight and you're not strength training is a protective measure that sends those signals to say, hey, let's burn body fat instead of muscle. And that is so favorable for women for many reasons. One, hormone health. And then two, maintaining your metabolism. So that way, because muscle is hard to preserve. So if muscle is there, metabolism will fire faster. And that's what, you nail it. You're lifting weights and you're doing very little cardio, maybe walking, and that's about it. And that's perfect.
Those before and after pictures, it was 4 months, 6 months, and then a year. I was following your program there, and I was only working out, lifting weights 3 to 4 days a week and walking.
Yeah.
That's it. No cardio whatsoever.
Back then, walking was a big component of complementing alongside strength training. And it still is. It still is now, of course, with Recalibr8te. We always tell people, look at your walking habits right now. How much you're on your feet right now. On average, if you're, getting 8,000 steps a day, not bad, but you're going to see a big difference if you can add 10-20% to that. Instead of 7 to 8,000, can you bump it up to 10 and hit that on a weekly basis, daily basis, weekly basis? Do that for 8 weeks, 10 weeks in a row. It freaking adds up, and you're going to start burning through body fat quick. Okay, so last question here. Recalibrate the 8 in there stands for the initial 8 weeks, which is our phase 1. We have up to 4 phases. It also stands for the 8 pillars. One of the pillars is fasting, which is a powerful tool. It can be different for everybody. I had a call today with somebody, and I'm like, look, if you went 12, 13 hours without consuming food, you did a fast. It's not that big of a deal. You went from 7 p.m. to 8 a.m. the next day. That's 13 hours. That's great for you. What you really did there was cut out the nighttime bull crap and kitchen's closed mentality. And you're also allowing your body to not have to worry about digesting food. We know fasting is super powerful. It's something you've been doing for a couple of years now at least. Outside of that, is there anything else that you feel like is helpful or key takeaways with nutrition?
Your 10 lean habits were very helpful. I still follow them to this day.
The big one for you, I feel like, because you've confided that you're a natural sweets.
Tooth. Yes. Developing a healthy relationship with food is probably the biggest thing. Yeah.
Sugar is one of those things, and you've mentioned for you self-admit if you just watch the sugar for consistently for a few weeks, it's much easier for you to lean up.
Oh yeah, and once you ease off of it, you don't want it as much.
Crave it.
Yes, you don't crave it as much.
It's unfortunate because you can. Everyone, I say this to everybody, isn't it amazing how you can be completely stuffed and full after a meal, but yet if you think of some sort of sugar item that is your kryptonite, automatically we have room for it.
Yes.
You can be completely stuffed to the brim, but you have room for it. So I agree with you in the sense that kind of watching. If it's out of sight, out of mind, you don't crave it as much. So, thank you so much for getting on here. You guys, I encourage you to reach out to Codi if you guys have any questions at all. You can, of course, reach out to me. I'm happy to answer them. But if you kind of want an unbiased opinion about this and want to hear from someone that you can relate to, like Codi, send her a message. Her discount code up here. If you're interested and you've been watching this, you've seen other interviews, check this out. Codi K 10 will save 10%. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for coming on here. I know it's nerve-wracking to a degree, but we did it and we're done.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.